I'm Roman Yossi of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Matt Duchesne of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Justus Aros of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Ryan Johansson of the Nashville Predators.
You're listening to the Renegades of Puck
with Crazy Charlie.
Welcome to the Bunker. Welcome to the Renegades of Puck podcast. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier, and before we get started on the No Half Step in Hockey coverage, let me direct you to our home website, renegadesofpuck.com. Once you go to renegadesofpuck.com, you'll learn everything you need to know about the show, and once you're good and educated about the show, click on that merchandise tab that's going to take you straight to our classic logo t-shirt, our Pride logo t-shirt, and all of our different special event t-shirts. All of the gimmicks you've come to know and love and expect from the Renegades of Puck, all still available in our online store. Socks, throw pillows, wall art, bed sets. Yes, you can outfit your entire home and your entire body. And honestly, I would appreciate if you would go ahead and do so. After all, we've sold out so that you can buy in. Social media is of critical importance to this independent hockey operation, so listen up. Here's how you can help us out. Doesn't cost you a penny, and it doesn't take you but a second. And here, it goes a long way to supporting the Renegades of Puck. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. That's our social media platforms. Of course, you can subscribe to us on YouTube, and thank you so much for all the recent subscribers. We sure do appreciate each and every one of you. That's where you can find Renegades of Puck TV, and of course, you can find the audio podcast on numerous platforms. Just search Renegades of Puck in your preferred platform, or check out a couple of these different examples: Google, Spotify, Stitcher, and Amazon. And we are on several other audio platforms. Thanks to the Full Press NHL network, we're being heard by more Renegades than ever before, quickly approaching a very important milestone very soon. Hopefully be able to announce that. Venmo is how you can help the show out by becoming a sponsor. Thanks to generous Renegades just like you watching and listening right now, we've been able to make significant upgrades here to the bunker throughout this season, and we're about to make another round of significant upgrades to the technology behind the scenes, making the show more efficient, making the show more operable and maneuverable. These are important words to me coming up in the upcoming summer cycle going into the next season of coverage. Want to do a lot of very ambitious things here. So again, every dollar goes to helping the Renegades of Puck directly, and every single penny of it goes to supporting independent hockey coverage. Thank you guys so much. Stick taps, love, and respect. Now, I know it's time for the No Half Step in Hockey coverage, so let me deliver the goods. Time for operation number 746. That's right, show number 746 for the Renegades of Puck. And at this moment in hockey history, the NHL regular season has come to its conclusion. The Nashville Predators have finished in 5th place. They have skated in 82 games. They finished with a record of 42, 32, and 8. 92 points has the Preds, finishing the season 17 points behind the division champion Colorado Avalanche. On home ice, the Nashville Predators had a record of 22, 15, and 4. And on the road, the Nashville Predators had a record of 20, 17, and 4. They scored 229 goals in the season. They gave up 238 goals against. That is good for a goal differential of -9 throughout the regular season. Now, let's tell you the final standings for the Central Division. The Colorado Avalanche did win the division, as I just noted a second ago. 51 wins was the most in the Central Division. 109 points clears them of the Dallas Stars by 1 point to win the division. The Dallas Stars finished in second place with 108 points, but the Dallas Stars led in so many categories in the Central Division. Goals for 285, goals against 218, and goal differential +67. But because of 14 overtime losses, the Dallas Stars find themselves falling 1 point short of the division title. The Minnesota Wild finish in 3rd place in the Central Division with 103 points. The Winnipeg Jets with 95. The Nashville Predators with 92. St. Louis Blues with 81 points on the season. The Arizona Coyotes with 70. And Chicago Blackhawks, very unimpressive set of numbers. 59 points, the least amount in the Central Division. Also, the least amount of victories, of course, with 26, but the least amount of home victories within the division, 14. Also, the worst amount of goals for, 204 goals for on the season, the least amount of goals scored. 301 goals against the only team in the Central Division. St. Louis also gave up 301, the only two teams in the Central to give up 300 goals on the season. Goal differential, though, -97, far and away the worst in the Central Division. So that gets you all caught up on what happened in the Central Division with the final standings for the season. Now, for the Nashville Predators, let's turn to closing out their regular season. Let's start with the NHL ranks for the Preds over the course of the season. 2.72 is their goals for on the year. That was 28th out of 32 clubs in the NHL. That is not a very good number. 2.88 was their goals against on the season. That is 12th best in the NHL. Not bad, finishing near the top third of the NHL. In the shots for category, the Preds struggled all season long to generate shots on net, and without Roman Josi down the stretch of the season, it was dramatically worse. 29.5 shots on net for the season is 23rd in the NHL. And the shots against, again, the Preds gave up way too many shots. When we talk about UC Saros' final season stats, it will be reflective where he ranks amongst league leaders, how much work he had to face this season. The Preds gave up 33.3 shots against per game on the season. That is 27th in the NHL. The Preds power play was never very good this season. 17.6% was their conversion rate. That is 27th rated in the NHL. 44 conversions on 250 opportunities. Now, the Predators' penalty kill absolutely surged the late portion of the season. 82.6% was their kill rate. 48 power play goals against on the season. The sixth best power play in the NHL this season. Not their best complete statistical metric in league rankings, but of the most important statistical metrics we talk about, sixth overall in PK. Highly impressive stuff by the Nashville Predators. Dropping down to the next tier of statistics for the Preds of the season, face-off winning percentage. Didn't talk about it nearly enough this season. Eighth best in the NHL, 52.2%. Ryan Johansson, when healthy, was near the tops in the league individually. Penalty minutes for the Nashville Predators, 791 on the season. That was 10th overall in the league. Minor penalties, 286. That was 12th. Major penalties, 29. That was 8th overall in the NHL. Now, here is the Nashville Predators' number one category that they led in the NHL in any statistics. They are the third highest rated team in the league in total hits for the season, 2,242. In block shots, Preds finished the season 6th overall in the NHL, 1,322 blocked shots. So that's where the Nashville Predators finished in the standings, and now where the Nashville Predators finished in the team rankings. Let's now spend a few minutes talking about the individual finishes to each season. We'll talk about the statistics for the team overall in points and goals and assists. Then we'll talk about some of the breakdowns on some of the other categories, and we'll close this segment with the goaltenders talk. The captain, Roman Josi, though he was unable to skate in the final games of the season, 18 goals and 41 assists for 59 points. 59 points leads the Nashville Predators this season, so this year the Predators cannot even get a 60-point scorer after so many massive record-breaking offensive seasons just a year ago. Those 41 assists would represent number one overall on the Nashville Predators in assists. Matt Duchene, 22 goals, would represent the team lead for the season. He, of course, did not finish the season either due to injury. 22 goals and 34 assists for 56 points puts him in second place for the season. Tommy Novak finishes the season with 17 goals and 26 assists for 43 points in just 51 games skated, and Tommy Novak finishes third in scoring for the Nashville Predators this year. Tommy Novak is turning into a gem, and he is signed into the future at one of the most affordable contracts at 43 points in 51 games, can probably get a team. Philip Forsberg, 19 goals and 23 assists for 42 points, of course, was injured for quite some time here at the end of the season. Mikhail Granlund traded to Pittsburgh, 9 goals, 27 assists for 36 points. That's what he was able to do with the Nashville Predators. Glass, 14 goals, 21 assists for 35 points. Sissons, 12 and 18 for 30. Nino Niederreiter traded to Winnipeg, 18 and 10 for 28 points on the season, so still able to put up 18 goals and finishes tied for third on the Nashville Predators in goals scored this season. Ryan Johansson missed much of the end of the season due to injury. 12 goals and 16 assists for 28 points, was stellar in the face-off circle all season long. Parson gets his first taste and opportunity at the NHL, puts up 6 goals and 19 assists for 25 points. Injury slowed him down at the end of the season, but he put up a highlight reel goal that is maybe an all-timer for the franchise, and now he will get every opportunity to go back back to Milwaukee and participate in the AHL playoffs. Trennan finishes the year rather depressed when it comes to the offensive statistics. Only 12 goals and 12 assists for 24 points, but good to see Trennan maintaining the jam and playing hard each and every night. McDonough, 2-18 for 20 points, and he really, truly is one of the best acquisitions this Nashville Predators team has possibly ever had. Philip Tomasino at 5-13 for 18. Ekholm traded to Edmonton, but still put up 5-13 for 18 for the Preds. Cole Smith, 4 goals, 13 assists for 17. Luke Evangelista, 7 goals and 8 assists for 15 points in his first taste with the NHL. And 5-9 for 14 points was Tanner Jeannot before he got traded to Tampa Bay. Sherwood finishes the season with 7 goals and 6 assists for 13 points. Jankowski, 7 goals, 3 of those shorthanded, 5 assists for 12 points. And I added Luzon as the 20th and final scorer on this list as 3 goals, 9 assists for 12 points. That takes care of the individual statistics by goals, assists, and points for the Nashville Predators to wrap up the season. But a couple categories I wanted to branch out on and highlight. Penalty minutes for the season. Tanner Jeannot, even though traded to Tampa Bay and spent about a third of the season in Tampa Bay, 85 penalty minutes led the Nashville Predators in the season. That was Tanner Jeannot. Luzon second on team with 66. Cole Smith with 60. Dante Fabro 50. And Yakov Trenin with 47. Now, this is a category that I particularly enjoyed looking up because I knew, based on the number of hits Luzon was piling up game in and game out, that he had to be really high up there for the season. 250 hits on the regular season. That led the Nashville Predators and was far, far and away. Tanner Jeannot at 213, Cole Smith at 198, Trennan at 167, and Sissons at 164. But a healthy Luzon next year could be near one of the league leaders in total hits. Block shots, Ryan McDonough, again, just the most fantastic addition to this Nashville Predators franchise in every way. Led the team in block shots at the end of the season with 165. The captain, Roman Josi, with 148. Dante Fabro with 129. And no shocker here, time on ice for the season. Roman Josi, 25-10 per game. Ekholm ended up being second on the team at 21-44, and McDonough, 21-32. Of course, no surprise that it's all populated by defensemen when it comes to time on ice for the season. But Roman Josi is truly just a stellar player, and the Nashville Predators, without him down the stretch, fell just shy of making it into the playoffs. With his leadership, with his offensive capabilities and his skill sets, who knows what the Nashville Predators could have accomplished with the way this young group and core had played the stretch of the season out. UC Saros finishes the season with a record of 33, 23, and 7. He has 7th best in the league in wins with 33. His 919 save percentage is 5th best in the NHL at the end of the season. 2.69 goals against average, 1,928 saves is first overall in the NHL. 2,099 shots against is first in the NHL. And 3,809 minutes and 59 seconds is also first in the NHL. UC Saros may not have the goals against average, and he may not have the top save percentage in the NHL, but he kept his Nashville Predators in the race up until the dying periods of the season, and for that and for the numbers that he leads in the NHL, I truly believe he should be a Vezina finalist this year. No, I do not believe he should win the Vezina. I do believe that there are goaltenders that are superior to him in most statistical categories, and team results, of course, are going to play a factor into this, and GMs are always wowed by teams that finish near the tops of the standings. Anyway, I believe it's Olmark's Vezina to lose, but I believe UC Saros deserves, has earned, and has kicked the door in on becoming a Vezina finalist again this season. If he can get out of the gate hot next season, who knows? He could put up a season just like Linus Olmark has this year. Kevin Lankinen, the backup goaltender for the Nashville Predators this year, very respectable season. 9-8-1 overall on his record, 9.16 save percentage, 2.75 goals against average. He was put in there in some very difficult circumstances, especially early in the season, represented himself well, and came away with some really big-time performance. As a goaltender tandem, Saros-Lankinen, very good going into next season. With Askarov coming along in the pipeline in Milwaukee, the Nashville Predators are definitely set up and stacked nicely in net. That's got you caught up on the Central Division final standings, where the Nashville Predators finished in the rankings amongst the league, the individual statistics, and all the different categories, plus the goaltenders. Man, it was fun covering this Nashville Predators team down the stretch run of the season. They almost made it into the playoffs, but more importantly than that, they were in it each and every night. They were competitive, and a lot of young players and a lot of future core players of this franchise were the ones that got the opportunities here down the stretch, and that was the most fun part of covering the team this season. It was a tough first half of the season, and it was honestly a very enjoyable and rewarding last part of the season, covering so many incredible young hockey players that were out there just bringing the jam and the no half-step and effort, shift in and shift out. Impressive stuff from so many different players, and the next development camp that's coming up this summer is going to be the Nashville Predators' most important camp that they have had since the first camp that they had 25 years ago. The franchise will look completely different next year, other than Philip Forsberg, Roman Josi, Matt Duchene, Ryan Johansson, and of course, UC Saros. Other than that, this Nashville Predators team is going to repopulate the roster and the lineup with a wealth of options, and who knows what they will accomplish over the course of the summer, whether they trade some draft picks to bring in some other ready-to-go roster players, whether there are some other players still to sign in free agency, all of that to be tracked here on the show over the course of the season. But building around the core that I just mentioned with that defenseman, that goaltender, and those couple of forwards, and the youth movement coming in with the Nashville Predators and Barry Trotz's first season, I cannot wait to see what this team is able to accomplish moving forward next season as they climb from 5th place, hopefully more into the playoff conversation sooner rather than later. I do believe these final games of the season allowed the Nashville Predators to absolutely shave off at least a season, if not more, in the rebuild process and how long it will take them to become competitive again. They can shrink that time frame even more by making a couple of very important trades and some signings here in the next 1 to 2 seasons. So that wraps up the regular season for the Nashville Predators. It's heartbreaking to go back and have to talk about the last game recap of the season as we exit the Nashville Predators and mostly the NHL bubble and head back to the AHL with the Milwaukee Admirals. But it is our last game recap for the Nashville Predators of the season. It's game 82. It's Rebirth Sports full game recap, and it is coming up next.
Hockey players are as unique as the game itself, and your uniform should be tailored to fit you. Rebirth Sports is your sports apparel tailor. From shells, bags, warm-ups, hats, hoodies, branding, and more, let Rebirth Sports be your custom hockey tailor.
And don't forget to tell them they do more than just hockey.
Rebirth Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Rebirth Sport, a match made in hockey.
It's the Rebirth Sports full game recap. We go all the way back to April the 14th of the year 2023 when the Nashville Predators were at home to close out the regular season schedule against the Colorado Avalanche, and John Hines deploys his lines for the final time this season, or for the final time. Sanford, Glass, and Tomasina make up your first line. Sherwood, Novak, and Evangelista your second. Trennan, Sissons, and Parsonen. Asplund, Jankowski, and McCarron round out your fourth line. Your defensive pairings are as following: McDonough and Fabro, Barry and Livingstone, Stastny and Foote. Kevin Lankinen gets the start at Bridgestone Arena on the second night of back-to-backs, with the Colorado Avalanche coming in 1 point behind Dallas, looking to win the Central Division. Just 28 seconds in, and Colorado's making a statement about wanting to win the division as Taves gets his 7th goal of the season, putting the Avalanche up 1-0. It was a long shot that hit Dante Fabro and skipped right over Lankinen and into the net. Colorado Avalanche have a 1-0 lead just 28 seconds into the game. But at 3:20 of the first period, it's McKinnon's 40th goal of the season as he walked Sissons from the point to the net and used his top-level skill to go ahead and finish on Lankinen. 2-0 now in favor of the Colorado Avalanche. At 4:59 of the first period, Lankinen comes with a save on Newhook. At 5:42. Sherwood, out of nowhere, with his 6th goal of the season, gets the Preds on the board. 2-1 now in favor of Colorado. It was a wrist shot from the top of the circle, and it was honestly a perfect snipe. Took the puck away on the half wall, stepped out a couple of feet, and went ahead and ripped it. Preds on the board. 6:37 of the first period. Trenton's off the box minutes for interference. A strong PK by the Nashville Predators, as you have come to know as of late. 0 shots on goal. 9:19 in the first. Lankinen comes with a save on Nieto. 11:43. Lankinen a save on Likkinen. At 13:14, it's McKinnon's 41st goal of the season as he splits Fabro and McDonough and goes from 0 to 60 in an instant. Finishes with the backhand at the top of the crease. It was absolutely a sick 5-star goal when you take into account the high level of speed, burst, creativity, and losing his defenders and then finishing as close as he was to the net as easily as he did. McKinnon's 41st goal of the season gives Colorado a 3-1 lead. We're still in the first period, but the Avs are out shooting the Preds 15 15-1 here at this point, leading 3-1. 14-13 of the first period. Georgiev comes up with a save on Stastny. 14-54. Stastny off to the box. Minutes for high sticking. It would be Lankinen coming up with a save on Nichushkin. And overall, another strong PK by the Nashville Predators. 1946 of the first period. Georgiev comes up with a save on McDonough. Plus the follow-up of Jankowski. It was without a doubt the Nashville Predators' best scoring chance other than that time they scored earlier in the first period. At the end of the first period, Colorado outshoots the Preds entirety for the first period, 18-4. The Colorado Avalanche come out on the clean sheet, and Georgiev goes back to work with a save on Novak at 1:51 of the second period. 2:03 of the second period. Lankinen comes up with a save on Eller and his wraparound stuff attempt. At 2:32 of the second period. Luke Evangelista's seventh goal of the season is a top corner snipe off of Tommy Novak's cross zone feed. Got to give Foot credit on the outlet pass all the way from the D zone right here. Some good slick passing to the back of the net, and the Colorado Avalanche now are leading only 3-2 at 5:50 of the second period. McDermott's off to the box. 2 minutes for tripping on Luke Evangelista. Evangelista tried to pull the McKinnon move from earlier and slice through the D. The D just went ahead and hauled him down, giving the Preds a power play, and that's where Sherwood is converting with his seventh goal of the season, second goal of the game. It was a low shot from the slot after some really great passing by the entire team. I believe 4 consecutive passes connected with speed and accuracy before Sherwood directed it towards the net with his seventh goal of the season, tying the game up at 3 apiece. Did Colorado take their foot off the gas, or did Nashville Predators find a new level of jam in the first intermission? It doesn't make a damn difference now because we're 6 minutes into the second period and the game is suddenly tied at 3 apiece. 8:13 into the third period. Georgiev comes up with a save on Fabro plus the follow-up by Sanford. 11:52. Lankinen comes up with a save on Johnson. 13:54. Georgiev a save on Trennan. 14:49. Georgiev a save on Sanford. 15:45. Rodriguez off the box. 2 minutes for slashing, and Colorado seems to be waking back up at this point in time because they shut down everything out there on the PK. We hit the end of the second period. Colorado is out shooting Nashville 23-12, but Colorado only generated 5 shots on goal after having 18 in the first period. 42 seconds into the third period, it's Dante Fabro off the box. 2 minutes for roughing on McKinnon right there in front of the net. Lankinen comes up with a save on Taves, and Lankinen comes up with a save on Lehkonen. 3:06 of the third period. Georgiev coming up with a save on Tomasino. 3:55. Livingstone's off the box. 2 minutes for tripping, and the Nashville Predators PK unit that has become so incredible as of late. 4 blocked shots on this penalty kill, not giving up a single shot on goal. Incredible effort by this Nashville Predators. Heart and soul PK unit all the way here down the stretch. 7:15 in the third period. Georgiev comes with a save on Glass. 8:15. Lankinen a save on Rantanen. 9:22. Georgiev a save on Novak. 11:57. Lankinen a save on McKinnon. We're back and forth here in a tie game in the third period of Bridgestone Arena. 14:41. It's Georgiev coming up with a save on Glass's backhand. We go to 17:06 of the third period. Georgiev comes up with a save on McDonough's shot. Preds had a great look at the net right here, but at 18-18 on the 2-on-1, McKinnon and Rantanen barreling down the ice with speed and fury. It's McKinnon who elects to shoot after the look-off, converts for his 42nd goal of the season, his third goal of the game, and a hat trick, of course. The 2-on-1 dooms the Nashville Predators in this one. Colorado takes the 4-3 lead, and then they just stifle what's left of the clock after that, outshooting the Nashville Predators 34-21 for the game and winning 4-3, and also clinching the Central Division in the process. Nathan McKinnon showed what it is to be a top-level player in the NHL. He carried the Colorado Avalanche to this division title at Bridgestone Arena. He has always put up huge games at Bridgestone Arena. He's always been incredibly good against the Nashville Predators, but this was something different. He picked this team up and carried them to a Central Division championship. And if the Preds had desired playing spoiler after being swept by the Avs last year in the first round of the playoffs, well, they gave it their all in the second period, but they just didn't have the energy, and they certainly didn't have the skill level or ability to close out a team as good as the Colorado Avalanche. So the Avs get a chance to celebrate another important moment in their recent team history at Bridgestone Arena with this victory, claiming the Central Division title. That's the final Nashville Predators Rebirth Sports full game recap of the season. Of course, now we transition to Milwaukee Admirals coverage, and we will be breaking down in the same manner each and every playoff game for the Milwaukee Admirals. Once the matchups are determined, we'll have our preview show, and we'll convert, as we would, as if it was the Predators, right into Milwaukee Admirals coverage, full on, starting early next week. That's going to do it for the Rebirth Sports full game recap. We've got analysis, box score, stats, and the Renegades of Puck coming up next.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm Tracy, owner-operator of Strong Style Fitness. And that's me and my training assistant, Rizzo. And we are here to bring you fitness that meets you where you are by offering circuit classes, bar-inspired classes, Tabata workouts, boot camps, guided stretching, and more, all taught by a certified personal trainer, me. To learn more, go to our website, strongstylefit.com. Subscribe on YouTube at Strong Style Fitness. Follow on social media at Strong Style Fit. But most importantly, let's get you moving. It doesn't matter if it's your first workout or you've been doing it for years. Strong Style Fitness has the workout that meets you on your journey and helps you along the path to a happier, healthier life. I understand where you've been, what you were going through, and where you were going, and I want to take you there. We'll see you on the mat. Mwah.
Lankinen into this game, 30 out of 34. He takes the loss, and you know what? He battled, and he battled hard. He battled all season long, but he was put in some pretty tough situations this year. And going up against Nathan MacKinnon, he had absolutely no chance. MacKinnon was just determined to win the Central Division for the Colorado Avalanche at Bridgestone Arena, and Lankinen just honestly never stood a chance on any of the 3 goals that MacKinnon put in the net. And the other goal that went off of Fabro, that was something that Lankinen just simply could not prevent. So again, he battled, he worked hard, he definitely tried and gave his all out there, but just no chance against a player that is just at the top level and firing on all cylinders the way MacKinnon is at this point. Let's talk about Sherwood, 2 goals. And now, you know what? He was a post away from the hat trick. The effort. Sherwood starts the season with the team, ends up playing in Milwaukee for a while because of all of the circumstances and situations with the Preds, finds himself back up here at the end of the season, and his effort will be remembered. Going into the next training camp, he will have an opportunity, and the coaching staff definitely noticed those 2 goals today and the fact that he was just ripping the puck. Every time he had an opportunity to shoot, he was taking that shot, and his shots were hard, and they were accurate. He was a width of a post away from having a hat trick in this game. Luke Evangelista scores a goal in this game, and it was a sweet setup. It was a great trio of young players. Tommy Novak sets up the play with the primary assist, cross-zone pass to Evangelista for the finish, but go back and look at the defensive zone home run pass breakout by Foot all the way up to Tommy Novak and then across the zone over to Evangelista for the finish. Overall, it was just a really great play by a trio of young Nashville Predators, and Evangelista gets rewarded with the goal in this one. Sissons picked up an assist in this game, 1936 of total time on ice. That led the Nashville Predators forwards in time on ice. And I just wanted to make the notation, just the most solid leader in every way. I've covered every game of Colton Sissons' career. I've covered every shift of Colton Sissons' career. From being destined to be the sheriff and the 4th line center of this team for a decade to come, he's proven he can be more than just a 4th line center. He has stepped up. He's played all over the lineup. And most importantly, it's not just where he plays, it's how he plays. He brings the right attitude each and every night. And he's truly been a leader without a letter for most of his career. And it's just wanted to make a notation about Colton Sissons and get a chance to talk about him for just a minute. I think that he is going to go down in history as one of the best Nashville Predators. Will he have the high stats and goals of a Philip Forsberg or the assists and points of a Roman Josi? No, absolutely not. But he'll have the games played, he'll have the penalty minutes, and he'll have all of that PK time and all of those block shots and all the other intangible things that Colton Sissons brings to the lineup each and every night. Every team in the league wishes they had a Colton Sissons. And I made one note because you have to. You can't seriously talk about this game without mentioning the performance by MacKinnon. Those 3 goals in the hat trick just carried his team to a division title and, carried the team to a Stanley Cup final and win already. And they're set up and poised after starting the season with a hangover and slow. The Colorado Avalanche were in 6th place, it seemed like, for quite some time. Just started creeping up the Central Division as the second half of the season went along, put themselves in a position to strike on the last day of the season, and they go ahead and take the the division title. McKinnon led his team in every single way. He is an otherworldly talent, and for all of the headlines that some of the other players get around the league, say the ones that play in Edmonton, McKinnon deserves to be talked about in just exactly the same ways. He can take over a game at any time, and he has every single skill set and ability. Just an impressive game right there. That's going to do it for the analysis. We got box score and so much more coming up next. Brian Baston's also on the way on the Renegades of Puck podcast. The digital environment can be quite intimidating, time-consuming, and cumbersome, especially with all those other areas that need attention at your business, and that's why Stripe Digital Solutions is here to help. I know, because that's exactly what Stripe Digital Solutions did for me and the Renegades of Puck. From designing my home website and helping me create my merchandise to special event posters, brand building, and social media management. But it's not just that, it's so much more. Stripe Digital Solutions has helped me every step of the way. From startup to full-time operation, Stripe Digital Solutions has been there to assist and advise every single step of the journey. In today's fast-paced world, the path to success is having a strong digital partner, and nobody is better in the trenches than Brandy and Stripe Digital Solutions. Get the solution before it's even a problem with Stripe Digital Solutions. When it comes to the box score, your goal scorers were Sherwood with 2, Evangelista with 1 for the Nashville Predators. When it comes to assists on the forward side of things, Novak, and then Sissons and Trennan with assists in this game, and Foote picks up an assist. When it comes to shots on goal, too many players with only 2 to go ahead and mention. I'll move on to block shots. Dante Fabro had 4 in this game. Cal Foote had 3, and Colton Sissons also had 3. When it comes to the physical element of things, Zach Sanford had 4 hits in this game. Colton Sissons had 3 hits in this game. A couple of others with 2. And in the time on ice category, Colton Sissons led the forwards in total time on ice, 1936 total time skated. And on the defensive side of things, it was Ryan McDonough, 23:58 in total time on ice. And again, just continues playing incredible hockey for this Nashville Predators team, and has been just a great addition and asset to this Nashville Predators franchise. In net, Lankinen finishes the game 30 out of 34, 1 shorthanded save, 3 power play saves, 26 even strength saves. He battled, but no match against Rantanen. Brian Baston is here from ontheforecheck.com. He's got the charts you need to see, the numbers you need to know, and he's going to talk about the Nashville Predators season, but also start looking forward to the Milwaukee Admirals Calder Cup playoff run. Brian, the show's all yours.
Thanks a lot, Charlie. Well, the Nashville Predators fell 4-3 in their final game of the season, in Game 82, and that puts the wraps on the 2022-23 season for the Nashville Predators. And we're going to take a quick look back as we wrap up this season in tonight's edition of One Big Stat. And tonight's stat is 189. That is how many days there were between the Nashville Predators' first game, the Global Series, October 7th, 2022, in Prague against San Jose Sharks, and tonight, April 14th, 2023. Now, for those of you paying attention, you might have seen during the game the stat that the first and last goals for the Nashville Predators were both scored by my boy, Kiefer Sherwood, which is true. However, the other cool thing about that is the Nashville Predators had the very first and very last face-off of the season, as they were the first and last game of this regular season. So I thought that's pretty cool. And, you know, you look back at those 189 days and a lot happened. I mean, a lot happened. Obviously, the franchise is going in a completely different direction than when it was when it started the season. We've seen the final game from David Poile as general manager, the only general manager the Predators have ever had. That could be the last time that we see John Hines in a head coaching role for the Nashville Predators. But for a lot of people, the bigger thing is just the departure of so many familiar faces. Matthias Ekholm, Nino Niederreiter, for as long as he was actually in Nashville. Guys like Tanner Jeannot, fan favorites. Things have changed, and this is what a lot of people asked for. But now that we've reached the end of the season, this is what we have. We are heading in another direction, and it's nice to see. Yes, it was painful to see so many favorite players or familiar faces go and head to other teams, especially those who went on and succeeded elsewhere. But, this is what we had all asked for. We wanted this team to be something else, to be a little bit more successful than they had in past years. And I think they're on a good start. In fact, we got to see a lot of what the future looked like, because if last year they talked about a youth movement, this year was just I don't know. It's more than a movement. That's for damn sure. So we've got a little bit of time now between now and the NHL draft, which is the next time that Nashville will see anything related to the NHL and hockey, which I think is pretty cool. And so until then, well, guess what time it is? It's time for the Milwaukee Admirals. So next time I see you here on One Big Stat, we'll be moving on from coverage of the Nashville Predators and talking about the Milwaukee Admirals, because it's one of my favorite times of the year, and that's the AHL playoffs. So until Nashville plays again, we'll talk about the Predators maybe a couple more times, but from now on, it's Admirals season, baby, and let's watch them win the Calder Cup this year. And that's tonight's One Big Stat.
I'm Crazy Charlie Saunier, captain of the Renegades of Puck. I'm also tired of the cold, tired of the dark, and tired of being landlocked. I'm also willing to bet that I'm not the only one who could use some sun, fun, and time in paradise with friends. That's exactly why I called our great friend Pete Weber. He told me, call Ships and Trips Travel, and now we're all going to Mexico. That's right, Renegades of Puck, July 15th to the 20th of 2023. Dreams Vallarta Resort in Puerto Vallarta is the destination to hang with Pete Weber in paradise. To join Pete and the Renegades of Puck in Puerto Vallarta, go to www.shipsandtripstravel.com. That's shipsandtripstravel.com, and just click on the ROP on vacation tab. Don't stay landlocked. Join the Renegades of Puck in paradise, July 15th to the 20th, 2023 in Puerto Vallarta. Pete Weber, the Renegades of Puck, and you. It's time to ditch those skates for flip-flops and fun in the sun. The NHL playoff matchups are all set now as the regular season has concluded. We'll talk more about those, and of course, we will follow along, track, recap, and give analysis as the tournament unfolds before our very eyes. One of truly the greatest times of the year. The Nashville Predators are not going to be a part of the NHL playoff bracket this year, but for the rest of us, we will get to casually observe from afar the rest of the groupings. Here's what the matchups are going to look like, and again, we'll break all of these down a lot more at a later time. Boston and Florida. I do find that series to be intriguing, a team that hasn't had a whole lot to play for because Boston's had their place in the league solidified for so long versus a team that's been hungry. The old rest versus rust and all that concept. Very, very curious to see how that plays out. Toronto, Tampa Bay could easily be the best series of the first round in the Eastern Conference. Carolina, New York Islanders, do not sleep on that series. Sorokin can help the Islanders defeat the Carolina Hurricanes, and the Canes have a habit of getting themselves worn down about this time of the year. It's one of the reasons they've had difficulties making it past the conference finals. Rangers and the Devils is just a classic division rivalry. Let's go all the way back to the Patrick division and let's talk about two teams that truly hate each other. It could be one of the more physical series, and it could be a really fun series. And now in the Western Conference, Colorado and Seattle. Last year's champion versus this year's first ever playoff series. Seattle Kraken, only their second season in the NHL. Could be fascinating hockey. Cannot wait to see how it plays out. Dallas and Minnesota, Central Division rivalry right there. I think that those two teams are going to get after each other. Winnipeg and Vegas, and then Edmonton and LA. And I am picking Edmonton and LA to possibly be the best overall series of the first round. And I think a lot of people are going to maybe allude to they like that series, but I don't know that people have really looked into just how fast and how much scoring could take place in this series. It could be truly, truly a fun thing to watch. That's the NHL playoff bracket. But one other thing I want you to put on your radar before we head out of the bunker for today. The Milwaukee Admirals. I've mentioned them a dozen times or more, and I'm going to be mentioning them a whole lot more on the upcoming episodes of the Renegades of Puck podcast. The Milwaukee Admirals have a record of 41, 23, 5, and 2. They find themselves in second place with 89 points and one game remaining on the season. That one game remaining will be Sunday versus the Rockford Ice Hogs. Now, the Texas Stars are in first place. The Texas Stars still have 2 games to play. So the Milwaukee Admirals would have to win tomorrow and then would also have to have Texas lose their final 2 games of the season to win the division. But the Milwaukee Admirals have already clinched a playoff spot. They are already assured a first-round playoff series. But with 1 game to go, 89 points, a record of 41, 23, 5, and 2, they'll be receiving a whole lot of reinforcements and reserves starting today for their final game of the season tomorrow. That's going to do it for the Renegades of Puck podcast. Operation 7 746, threw a whole lot of information at you, but closing down a season and also changing over the coverage, it was a lot to get through, but I'm glad you joined us, and I'm glad we can entertain you for the last 82 games plus. It's always a hell of a joy to cover the Nashville Predators, living just down the road as the Renegades of Puck do, and covering an NHL franchise is a wonderful, wonderful thing. But we have more hockey to talk about. We have plenty more hockey to cover, and we'll be discussing it here from the bunker on the Renegades of Puck podcast. We appreciate your viewership. We appreciate your time. Most importantly, we appreciate you. I am your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. Stick taps, love, and respect.